Tororo district in eastern Uganda sits at the foot of numerous sprawling hills and rocks. As soon as you approach Tororo and its fast-growing town, you cannot miss the famous Tororo Rock, which dominates the skyline with its unmistakable beauty. Not far from this star attraction lies another gem, which has remained untapped and underutilized for decades. Sukulu Hills is located outside Tororo town, off of the Busia-Tororo road. Until recently, it was just another hill capped in lush greenery, with not much activity there. In the colonial period, a major discovery was made underneath these hills, and over 6 decades later, this discovery would have significant impact on Uganda's mining sector and the economy. Scientists found large volumes of iron ore deposits in excess of 200 million tons and 75 million tons of phosphorus, plus other rare earth minerals.
This phosphate deposit was discovered in the 40s, and actual production and processing of fertilizers started in 1944, I must say, and went on up to 1978.
Years later, the Ugandan government embarked on a process of identifying and negotiating with a suitable investor to harness the natural resource.
The problem was to get somebody to develop it who had enough money. We kept on hawking it, promoting it, but we didn't get people.
The search ended in 2013 when the Guangdong Energy Group Uganda Limited signed a 20-year mining lease extendable for 15 years to develop Sukulu Hills into an industrial complex. This historic partnership gave birth to the Sukulu Comprehensive Project.
They carried out excellent, I must say, professional geological work, professional mineralogical work, and beneficiation. In other words, they carried out a complete, detailed feasibility study ranging from appraising the ore deposit, and actually they came out with a figure of 216 million tons, which was close to what had been discovered before.
Because the kind of minerals which are in that area in Sukulu, it's not just only phosphates. It is, we call it a polymetallic because it has a list of minerals. We have phosphates, we have iron ore, we have niobium, we have rare earth elements, and out of these we are going to process very many products.
The investment, approximately 2.2 trillion Uganda shillings, sits on 600 acres of land. It's Uganda's largest privately funded mining venture to date. The investor immediately got down to work. With a full intro, the first task for the Guangdong Energy Group was to conduct a feasibility study of the area to verify the earlier scientific findings. However, the geological survey took a lot more time than anticipated.
This mine has sit in Uganda for around more than 15 years. No one did develop it because this mine is like a porridge made by God in there. The minerals like phosphate and iron, they blended in each other. They are not existed like individually. They blended in each other. So it has been a very big challenge to separate phosphate and iron. And you know, if the phosphate has a lot of iron inside, the fertilizer produced from there will make the soil hardening. If the iron contains a lot of phosphate, the steel will very easy to break. So we spent 3 years of technology on the testing of technology on this one. Finally, we succeeded, but it's really taking us long.
Mining and later on construction works could not begin before all those sitting on the land were fully compensated to enable relocation, and by 2016, all claimants had been paid.
So when Dong So came, he said, no, I can compensate those people and also raise money to build the factories. That's what brought the difference, money.
What happened in this case is that the notice that was given was 6 months, but Dong Song paid 30% instead of 15%. So there was a markup on top of the statutory 15%. So if you ask me, this is one of those projects where compensation was properly handled. We did not receive any complaints from those who were compensated.
Work began shortly after. One of the landmark buildings in the Dong Song complex is East Africa's largest organic fertilizer plant. It will produce 300,000 metric tons of fertilizer annually when commercial production begins in December 2018. The organic fertilizer plant offers relief to farmers who for years have relied on purely inorganic fertilizers, which present some challenges.
Uganda, you use a lot of triple phosphate fertilizer and also DAP. Then when we do the investigation of the soil, when we try to decide the formula of the fertilizer, we found the soil in Uganda basically are more acid. If you continue to apply those fertilizers, it will accelerate the land hardening, and also the nutrient will go according like 10 years time. Also in China, we also experienced the same thing. So then we decided that we can develop as we have a harmonious environment. So that's why we changed it to the bioorganic phosphate fertilizer, which can not only increase the yield, but can also improve your soil in the long run.
The fertilizer industry is going to be a very big boost to the agriculture industry generally. We need to replenish our soils. We need to fertigate our plants and use fertilizers in our production. Since now we are going into massive production, producing for export, producing for the regional markets, we really need to use fertilizers. But in this case, I'm happy to note or to inform the public that this industry is looking at organic fertilizers, which do not affect our soils. So as you also wait for fertilizers, the other side effects would have been a problem, but now we are looking at something which is even natural in a way.
The other products to be manufactured at the complex include steel, glass and construction blocks made out of slag, a waste product from the steel and beneficiation plant. One of the conditions government gave the group was to employ Ugandans, particularly residents of Tororo. Management is following this directive to the letter. In March 2018, the company recruited 500 local staff. Another 500 were later recruited a few months after. Today, There are hundreds of local workers at the complex as administrators, engineers, supervisors, welders, drivers, storekeepers, among others.
We have around 1,800 locals already. Now we are during the construction period, and now we only have 3 plants. So by next year, I think we can reach around 4,000 locals.
The number of local staff is expected to grow in line with the local content policy. There is no doubt the community is already reaping from the huge investment in that area.
Siura kampani n'engero gyeze bingi byensuubiramu kuba eriko ebbanga ddene ate nsuubira tugenda kukola naffe ng'abavubuka twebyezeewo tweyimirizeewo kuba kampani eriko egenda kukola bintu bingi so nange mu maaso awo nsuubira kukyuka ku bulamu bwange sigenda kusigala nga bwe mbadde.
Actually, it will change my life. It will change my life because by the time I finish here, like 2 years, well, at least I would have bought my plot, my own. And even I build my own house. That's what I'm thinking.
The Dongsong Energy Group built Iora Technical School a few meters from the project to facilitate skills training for the community. This will also enable technological transfer and project sustainability.
I think through time, when they get familiar with the technology and our machines, they can just operate themselves. So I think that's the way of transferring this technology to them. And also in the future, we will conduct many training. Also, we want to build a technical school ourselves, only for our park. Then before they come, they can go there to go through the whole process, both the theory and the practical. Then we can slowly make this plant mainly operated by Ugandans. Also because if we bring a lot of Chinese, also it's a problem for us. First of all, they are very costly, and also living home as another country is also not very stable. So definitely we are going to do this to transfer technology locally and mainly hire Ugandans.
President Yoweri Museveni has on several occasions condemned what he calls a supermarket economy, where Ugandans import more than they export.
So now we will not be able, supermarket, to buy fertilizers from elsewhere. We will not be now buying iron products from elsewhere. We will be able to get our industrial bricks so that the manufacturers who want to use these bricks now can obtain them locally here. So it is going to be one of the products that is going to help us to stop being a supermarket of the world.
So the more important figure for an economy is GDP, because this is the one which is here, irrespective of who is the owner. This wealth is here. This factory is here. This hotel is here. And secondly, most of the money will remain here.
President Yoweri Museveni, other political leaders and government technocrats have given the project all the necessary support, and in the last 2 years, tremendous progress has been made on this expansive land. At the moment, the production lines for Sukulu bioorganic fertilizer and unbaked block plants are running, and commercial production will soon commence. The first phase of the Sukulu project was commissioned on October 23, 2018 by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of Uganda. The second phase is currently underway and consists of both steel and glass plants.